Cool FM here on location at the Friends of the Sierra Vista Library Bookstore, which is located right behind Denny's restaurant in Sierra Vista off of Fry Boulevard, right in the Goodwill Plaza as well. Joining me right now is Steve Conroy. Steve is the vice president of the board of the Friends of the Sierra Vista Library. And there was a message, a call to action put out on your Facebook page in the past week, Steve, calling for urgency as the Friends of the Sierra Vista Library Bookstore here needs funding to stay open. What was requested was $40,000. And tell us, first of all, how we got to where we're at right now. In order to keep the doors open, you need $40,000. What happened to get to this point?
Well, to start with the history, we originally were in the small bookstore, the little bookstore up by the library, so we had no overhead cost up there. The problem is that the folks that ran the place kept getting more and more books. They were filling up rooms in the library, Connex containers with books, and the library just got fed up with us storing in the library, so we then moved down here. This was about 2017 when we finally moved to the location down here on Fry Boulevard. We actually had two stores. So for a good while, we were doing pretty good. We had good enough sales. We were able to cover everything. And about a year ago, we lost our treasurer, and we incurred the basic cost of this particular room, which turned out to, when I started doing the investigation, was around $8,000, $6,500 for the rent, and then another $1,500 for maintaining parking lots, streets, and that sort of thing. So when I was looking at the bank accounts, which we finally got everything consolidated, I noticed that our income was about half of what our outlay was. So in November, I started getting more serious to see where we were doing what we were doing. But by February, I realized that we were in serious financial trouble because there was a lot more going out than coming in. In March, I went to the board and said, we are going to have to close by June or July if we cannot figure out how to get some funding. The reason I'm asking for the $40K was that would give us about 6 months roughly with other income that we have to stay open and either get our online sales, which have become pretty good revenue for us. We're selling some books, for example, for $400, $500, and series of books are selling for $100 or so, which is a lot more than we can sell those individually here in the store. So we expect that in the long run, if in fact the online sales get to where we think they will be, then that would become our major revenue, and then the normal book sales here in the store would be what we would try to use both to provide funding back to the public library, which is the main purpose of our existence in the first place. As I mentioned, I think this is more than just a bookstore for the community. Yes, we have about 5,000 or 6,000 books for sure, but what it really is, we have several rooms where people can come and congregate. A lot of people find this as their second home away from home, a place for solace, a place just to get away and to have some quiet time and to relax and take it easy. So we see it more not only as a bookstore, but kind of as a refuge for some of our folks here in town.
And some people were asking questions when we posted the original story about your plight. If we donate, what's going to prevent this from not happening again? They want to know that their money is going to be well spent. Do you feel good about, the future if you can get through this sort of bad spot, hump, if you will, and that you're going to get this figured out and be much better standing for the future?
Yeah, our goal is, of course, to get the online sales going, and that should if that becomes our major revenue source, we would expect that we would be bringing in the 10K with that.
Because you need 10K to stay open
approximate right now. So that would be the start point. The other
each month.
So the other thing is we can start, if we have some breathing space, obviously, we can start looking to see if there's another facility that's a little smaller and less money. We're also going to go talk to the property owners, the managers, Shannon and I are going to go talk to them and see if we can work out an arrangement to reduce our fees. Since we are a nonprofit, they could do that and then use that difference to write off as a donation to a nonprofit. So we're trying everything we can. I've got some arrangements to talk to the Legacy Foundation to see if we can get some financial assistance there. We're going to go out to various community businesses to see about donations there. It would be nice if we could get several supporters that would be willing to become monthly donators to help cover the overhead cost. But the key is, I think if we get the online sales going, and I'm pretty confident that we will, then that would be our target. Now, if, for example, 6 months from now, actually 5 months from now, and we're in a bad situation again, we will close the doors. We will wrap it up. We'll ship all the books off to Phoenix, to their bookstores. We'll have a sale and we'll close the building if that's what happens. But I feel so strongly about this being more than just a bookstore for our community. It's so important that we have this place for people in our community to come to and to just get a break from whatever else is going on in their lives. And we see it all the time. And in fact, some of our volunteers, this is their home away from home. They don't make any money. They're all volunteers, and they come in here religiously and spend their 2, 3, or 4 hours either working the desk or sorting books in the back or shelving books. So we've got some great people in the community that are doing this to keep it operational. But again, unfortunately, we got into this bad financial situation, and my hope, as now that we know where we're at, what we're doing, that we get our feet on the ground and can get going with the online sales, which really is the major marketplace for selling books now in our society. So,
if anybody has any questions, feel free to do so right now, and we will try to ask Steve your question to him. Again, he's the vice president of the board here for the Friends of the Sierra Vista Library Store, again, located right behind Denny's, if some of you watching may not know, here in Sierra Vista. And you're not affiliated with the actual City of Sierra Vista Library.
No, we are actually a 501c3 organization. So again, all donations are tax. You can use those for your tax purposes. But yeah, we're a total separate organization. But our main mission, our function really in life was to raise funds to help support the public library. And we were able to do that for quite a while, up until about, I think, a year and a half ago. And then we started getting into this financial situation that we find ourselves in now. So we would love to get back to where, we're making some money and we can donate back to the public library again, too.
Yeah, because you do have an agreement, like I say, with the city.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, because of your own financial situation right now, you haven't been able to fulfill that agreement at the moment.
Correct.
Because of that, but you'd like to try to get back to that. But you're not. The city isn't coming after you. It's not a situation where you're in legal trouble or anything like that.
No, we have a memorandum of agreement with the library, and yes, they would like to reestablish that and set up a financial arrangement with us. The problem is, until we get this financial situation straightened out with us, I can't really go make any promises to them. Once we get situated and I feel comfortable that we're on the right road, then we would be in the right place. Now, just to add a note, because we're looking at online sales being kind of our key point, we need some volunteers to come in and help us with that. We could use about 5 people that could do that. We're looking for a treasurer that just could help keep track of our finances and keep us out of trouble and warn us if we're going in the wrong direction on anything. So we're looking for some volunteers. We pay a lot of money. You get the same pay I do. In fact, I'll even give you a bonus. You get 10% more than me. So, of course, 10% of zero ain't a whole lot.
Oh, well, yeah, right. I was just going to say. Well, because we want to emphasize, nobody here is on a salary, right?
The only person that's on salary is our manager of the store, and she has not taken a salary for the last 2 months. So.
Okay, because of the financial situation.
Yeah, she's trying to make sure we get survivable too. Yeah.
Okay. Rob Robertson is asking, is a grant a possibility? Do you guys have somebody searching for grants for these type of situations in places like this?
Well, I love that idea. We certainly would love to have somebody who knows a little bit about writing grants. Again, remember this whole thing started about a month and a half ago, back in the beginning of March, when I finally realized where we were financially, and that at that time I figured we could make it to July and we'd have to close. So we're trying everything we can at this point, but it's like, we don't have a lot of space to say, okay, I've got 6 months to write a grant. If we get stable, then yes, that would be an ideal thing for us to start looking at. And there's probably places that have grants for these kinds of enterprises. So
Right. And like I say, you again got into this situation, and now you're trying to get out of it because you only recently found out about it as well. So it's about right now trying to get back on your feet. Now, if somebody wants to donate, if there's a business person out there that maybe would like to make a larger donation, or somebody who is a little bit more affluent, or any amounts at all would help right now, what's the best way to do that?
Well, there's two ways. One is they could come to the store, or they can call the store, and they can leave a name and number, and I will get in touch with them directly. They can also call me directly, and I can get their information, send them an invitation letter to become a corporate sponsor or a supporter. And my number is 520-266-0558. Again, 520-266-0558. And of course, my name is Steve Conroy.
And somebody can also Zelle.
Correct. And so if you have a Zelle account at your bank, or on your phone, typically Zelle is an online thing, but you go to your account and then you go to your Zelle for transferring funds, and then you can go in there and it'll say, okay, what's the tag that you want to send this money to? And our tag for us is friends, lowercase FRIENDS _ 2026. And then that would transfer funds directly from your account to our account.
Friends _ 2026. That's all lowercase, friends _ 2026 if you want to Zelle money to help out. So the main thing why you got to where you got to now is you didn't have a treasurer.
Correct.
And then because you didn't have a treasurer, you just weren't keeping track of things. Somebody wasn't really watching over things as good as should have been.
Correct.
And then maybe you could have tried to raise money sooner, and it was one of those situations where it just didn't happen that way. And you wished it would have, but
yeah. If you think about it, every organization has a certain number of people that are there. You got the secretary, treasurer, the president, vice president. They all have their missions, right? Well, when you think you're in good financial state, you don't really worry about it. But if you don't have somebody who's kind of watching the numbers all the time and saying, hey, this is high, this is low, we shouldn't be doing this, or we're out of whack with this. And somebody should have said to us 6 months, 8 months ago, hey, your expenditures are now greater than your income. So you're going to get in trouble very quickly. So, I'll take part of the blame. I've been part of the organization now for a year and a half. And, I probably should have found this before. But we were in the process of transferring our accounts from one bank to another. We were consolidating our accounts and trying to get it all organized. And that all occurred in October of last year. And I started getting the financial statements at that point. And that's when I realized things were not going the way they should have. So I'll take part of the hit,
Yeah.
But by the same token, I have put some of my own hard-earned money into this enterprise.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were telling me that you made a donation yourself.
I made a donation that helped put us back on the streets, but or put us back in the store. But we do need people to step up, and if you want the store to be here, and I think it's a great resource for our community, then I would certainly ask you to consider deeply in your heart to do this. And also, you might. If you go to a church, you might bring this up to your church and say, hey, how about helping out the bookstore?
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. And you can do a lot here at this particular bookstore. What are some of the services that you do offer here?
Well, we have, first of all, we have rooms that are available for children and for adults. We have programs for kids, and we provide books to several nonprofit organizations here in town. We provide them free, and they're the ones that go into the schools and read to the kids, and they give them all a free book. Those books, a lot of them come directly from our library here. For example, we've probably contributed somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 books to the Kiwanis Club of Sierra Vista, which they give out to kids as they go and read. We've done that for the last 2 or 3 years. So those kind of things. We have programs for the children in the store, and we have things going on for adults. But it's a great place for people to congregate and to share time and experiences and reading information.
And another way to increase the income here monthly is actually to come and show your support and buy a book or two.
Yes.
Here as well. So
I will tell you, that's how I got started with the bookstore. I would come in here, and I have favorite authors, and I would come in and I would look for my authors, and I would find the books. And so I would be buying those. And we do have, periodically, we have sales for people. They come in and buy a bulk sale. They come in and buy books at 50% off, that kind of thing. So we do offer a lot of great reading material, and I mean, hardbound, paperbacks, and all types of literature, whatever you're looking for, all the way from, religion to fiction to geology, archaeology, whatever you're interested, we've got some books for you.
All right. Friends of the Sierra Vista Library Bookstore. It is located right behind Denny's restaurant in Sierra Vista. And what are your days and hours of operation, roughly? Maybe I'm kind of putting you on the spot a little bit here. But
yeah, typically we're open now. We're open Monday through Saturday, I believe it is, and Monday through Friday we're normally open from 10 to 4. Today, for example, we're open till 5. I think Fridays we're open, and then Don, what are our hours? Monday through Friday.
From 10 until 5.
10 to 5.
Saturdays 10 to 4.
Okay.
Sundays from 12 to 3.
Oh, so you're actually open on Sundays too,
Yeah.
From 12 to 3.
Right.
Okay. All
There
right.
you go.
Well,
Thank you,
7
Don.
days a week. Thank you so much.
You came by just at the right time.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. So 7 days a week. So come on out. If you've not known that this place even existed, please come out and show your support. And the more people that we have, support, the Friends of the Sierra Vista Library Bookstore, then obviously it'll be much easier for you to have your payments each month made. All right, Steve. Well, that sounds good. So again, folks, please Zelle Friends, lowercase 2026, or stop by here at the bookstore itself and make a donation, cash or check as well. And if you're a business person and you'd like to make a donation, feel free to contact that. We have your phone number and in the post description too as well, Steve.
Okay, great.
All right. Any other final thoughts here, Steve? Did we cover pretty much everything that needed to be covered?
Todd, I think we hit it all. And like I said, I became involved with the library specifically because I see it as more than a library, but as a real resource for our total community. So thank you very much for the interview.
All right. You bet. Thanks, Steve.